Hey, hello, what's up, and welcome in to this week's episode of the Geek Garage podcast, where we find ourselves with a bit of a conundrum. First, allow me to introduce show founder and series regular, because he's the host, obviously. Let's just start that over.
No, hey, no, that was great. I'm proud to be introduced as a series regular.
Well,
Like, I
it's
mean,
true.
that's like the most like notoriously amazing title I could ever dream and hope for. So,
Well, it's better than being a series irregular. That, of course, is the voice of host David. How are you?
I am great, Ted. You know what? I am just hanging in there, like by a thread.
David, let's go ahead and reel in that gross display of emotions. Let's have some.
uh man, you know what? I'm just gonna leave my emotions and my insanity that's creeping ever closer to the brink. I'm gonna leave that at the door, and that way we can do the podcast. But yes, thank you
Thank
for
you.
asking. How are you, good sir?
Yeah, let's just move right along. Uh,
Questioning all life choices up until this moment.
yes, yes, in fact. I said we are at a bit of a conundrum, a crossroads, if you will, as we gear up for the latter half of the year. I can't believe it's already August. That's insanity.
I know
Um,
it. Yeah.
I know that I'm always the sarcastic one that is like, yes, time moves forward, uh, ever forward, but even I find myself in that sort of just disbelief. You know, how the
Yeah.
fuck is it August? Yesterday was March. How this is this is
Well,
bullshit.
I mean, it doesn't help that time basically has ceased to exist as we really once knew it because I mean, a lot of people, you included, me included, are still working from home and we're just like, what day is it? Monday, Friday, Saturday? It doesn't fucking matter anymore. Like it's just, you get up, you work in your PJs and you eat probably more than you should. You hopefully take a nice giant dump and you go back to bed. And if you're lucky, that's all that happens to you that
That was
day.
quite a strange aside, shall we say. But as we move into the second half of the year, this is, of course, August being the, I would say, traditional, maybe traditional is not the right word, but the month that, generally speaking, school starts back up.
Hmm.
And while there are some things that preclude that from happening or change how that's happening this year, thank you, Corona, you bitch. Um,
Right. Fucking bitch.
uh, it still is, like I said, the month where that normally starts. So there's a lot of back to school things on everybody's mind,
Hmm.
ours included.
Yep.
So something that David and I talked about doing, and by that I mean David pitched, and I was like, sure. Uh, we are going to do a mini series of sorts where we will discuss some movies that take place at or around school. For those of you who are fans of the Geek Garage podcast or Geek Garage podcast fans and listeners, members of that Facebook group, you are familiar. We had a poll up about that we will talk more about momentarily, as well as more about the movies that made the list. Then, of course, we took the final tally and let the people that gave us money make the decisions because that's what you do. That's
Yes.
what you do. And then also some other things that we have coming into the pipeline, including an update on the first topic of our informal paranormal series that we talked about a few episodes ago. But first, some other probably more important things to cover. David, take it away.
All right. So I'm going to try and power through these real quick because we bullshitted long enough. It's like at 5.5 minutes, and I'm bullshitting as we speak. So here we go. Uh, we just launched our Geek Garage Creations merch store on the podcast. Or on the oh my god, the podcast website. If you just go to geekgaragepodcast.com/shop, you will find all kinds of cool merch that we are launching. We make ourselves. We have a couple different t-shirt designs. a shitload of stickers. I've kind of been on a sticker making craze frenzy lately. If you follow us on Instagram or Facebook or really any social media, but especially Instagram, you'll notice that I've been posting a bunch of vinyl and die cut stickers that I've been making myself. It's kind of addicting and oddly satisfying, and I figured why not make some nerdy ass stickers and attempt to sell them to people that might want to put them on shit like your car. So yeah, head
or other
on
people's
over.
cars.
Right, yeah, just, be like, "Ha ha, I got you
Technically, that's
there."
vandalism, which we officially do not support, although unofficially, whatever, do what you want.
Yes, vandal at your own discretion, please and
Yes,
thank you.
you're adults, hopefully.
Yeah, we're not gonna tell you, how to live your life, so you go do you, boo boo. But anyways, yeah, go check out our website, geekgaragepodcast.com/shop, and you'll find all the cool shit that we have available. I'm constantly updating the site, so there will be more and more stuff within the next couple days. For those that are new to the podcast or haven't listened in a while, we have launched a couple things. We have launched Comic Corner, which is a reoccurring blog post segment that we do, just to kind of supplement the podcast audio. It's where Ted and I review some of our favorite comic books, just talk about them, why we like them, give a quick little summary. We've released a couple little posts so far, and we plan on doing more here shortly. So, yeah, definitely check out the website if you're interested in reading up on our comic book reviews. Like Ted mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, we have our Facebook group page. If you just hop on Facebook and search for Geek Garage Podcast Fans and Listeners, you'll find us there. It's basically where all the majority of the conversations go down. Like we always post to our regular Facebook page, Instagram, and Twitter whenever we have new episodes and blog posts like Comic Corner. But as far as like polls and other nerdy type conversations, they always happen on the Facebook group page. So if you'd like to be a part of that, including the polls like the one we will be talking about this episode, go find us there. Click the little, I think it's an invite or not invite button. I think it says join. Doesn't fucking matter. You can figure it out. You're adults. Um, yeah, and then if you're into giving people money to pursue their quote unquote passions, we will gladly accept your $2 or $5 a month. We have a Patreon that we have a couple subscribers, and we thank those that I'm sure are wildly regretting their decision to give us their hard-earned $2 and $5 a month. But you do get some pretty neat perks with your contributions. So if you are interested in supporting the show, if you like the show and would like to support us financially, so we can take your money and pour it back into the podcast to buy new mics and other recording equipment. We also use it to fund our trips to conventions whenever the fuck that will start happening again. God knows when. But yeah, that's basically know that we're not taking your money and going to buy cocaine with it. Um,
Well,
First of all, cocaine's an old people drug, so you can
that's
be
right.
rest.
All the cool kids do ecstasy now.
Yes, X, Molly, MDMA, all that cool stuff that you have to grind and smoke or lick or, you know, they're doing toad. Anyways, God, this got off track from the
Basically, from the moment we started.
yes. We're now 10 minutes in, and I'm sure we've lost everyone. But anyways, if you are interested in supporting the show in a non-monetary sense, you can leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or any other podcast platform that accepts rating and reviews. I'm not sure of too many else or too many others out there aside from Apple Podcasts, but I know a lot of you use Apple Podcasts to listen to our show. So if you'd like to support us, um, that in ways that don't cost you money, please feel free to do that. We gladly accept 5 stars and nothing less. So
Yes.
if you,
What are we, poor people with this 4 stars? Get the fuck out of here.
yes, if you feel the need to give us 4 stars, you can cram it up your cram hole and keep on trucking. So
Yeah,
no,
and
I'm
then
sorry.
delete us from your app because we don't need you. Reconsider your life choices, giving us a 4. How dare you?
Right, friggin' plebeians. I'm not even sure the meaning of that word, but I think I used it correctly given the context. Anyways, that's it as far as the pre-roll shit that we got to get through. Ted, you want to hit that funky music and we'll get this shit show on the road?
Yes. All right, so earlier at the start of the podcast, I mentioned that there was a poll on the Geek Garage Facebook page about your favorite back to school movies. David put that up towards the end of the month of July, so just about a week or 10 days ago. Uh, this was a little more free flowing than some of our polls, so these movies didn't strictly have to be about going back to school because why keep it with the title of the poll? That's
Hmm.
stupid. They just had to take place at or around schools.
Yep.
David started the poll off with 4 films, kind of mixing up some classic and more contemporary choices, and then gave our audience and listeners the choices to vote for both their favorites and also add their own, their favorites from that list, I should say, and then also add their own selections that could be voted on by others. Um, I think it's safe to say that this poll went a little gangbusters.
It it really did. I think this was if we had to do a poll of our top 10 polls, I think this would be within the top 5 of our top 10 polls. Does that
My
make sense?
my favorite would be fireman's poll, then stripper poll, and then stripper fireman poll.
Wait, what is a stripper fireman poll?
If you have to ask, you're not ready to know.
Is that when a stripper like cosplays as like a girl fireman
It's
and
whatever you
then
want it to be for the right price, David.
all right, well I'm here for it then. My body is ready.
Mine is too. Moving right along. We'll send that out.
Ooh, getting hot in her.
Yeah. Anyway, like I said, the poll went gangbusters, and a lot of movies got added in. I don't know that I want to read all of these, but I feel
I
like
will.
David's going to read all of them. So here are the results from the poll, courtesy of Mr. David, starting from that which received the most votes, going all the way down to that which received the least votes and will be voted off the island summarily.
Yes. I'm quite happy with how this turned out. Thank you for introing this little segment, Ted. I appreciate it. So the movie that got the most votes and actually was one that was penciled in. I did not add this to the list because I was dumb enough to not think about it. I knew I wasn't going to be able to think about or consider all movies that could fall under this umbrella. But this is one of my favorite movies of all time, and yeah, we're just gonna wait until we actually get to it in a later episode. So here we go. 10 Things I Hate About You. That was number one. School of Rock coming in at number two. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Mean Girls. Breakfast Club. The Dead Poet Society. Clueless. Napoleon Dynamite. God. The Faculty, She's All That, Heathers, Billy Madison, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, Legally Blonde, which I think should be higher up on the list, but that's just me, Dazed and Confused, Can't Hardly Wait, and Porky's. I don't know why Porky's is on the list. One person wrote it in, one person voted for it, and that person is the same person. Um, yeah, and if you're listening, you should feel bad about yourself. So yeah, we'll just leave it at that. But yeah, that is the list of the movies that were both voted on. We started out with, and well, it's not all the movies we started out with. We started out with like 4 or 5, but that's all the movies that we ended up with when the poll ended. And yeah, I don't, Ted, what do you think about our list?
Um, but yeah, I mean, looking at the list, like Heather's, that's kind of I was surprised by that one. Porky's, that's just kind of random. But I mean, I'm not that surprised with the choices that were present or voted on. I'm a little
Right.
surprised at some of the final counts on votes for some of them, but I think
Hmm.
generally speaking, this is about what I would expect.
Yeah. This lineup dictates heavily who our listenership is, like our target demographic, or not our target demographic, but just coincidentally who listens to our show.
Yeah,
And
basically people around our age plus or minus 5 years.
Exactly. Yeah. People that they didn't have to have 10 Things I Hate About You introduced to them, or School of Rock. Like, you were of the age where you could drive yourself to the movie theater and go see School of Rock, like I was, and like you were, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know if you saw School of Rock in theaters.
I did
Uh,
not.
that was actually, I think, one of mine and Lindsay's first dates. For the most, we might have still been friends, but I was still trying to kind of get in her pants. Um,
There's a way to
but
say that.
by saying I wasn't trying to get in her pants, yeah, I get that. But hey, we're married and we have two kids, so it all worked
Happened at
out for
least
the better.
twice.
Yes, at least twice. So suck it, Dad. Um, anyways, God, this is a fucking beautiful train wreck.
Well,
No,
half right.
but yeah, like I'm pretty happy with like the top like 5 or 6 movies that ended up as the top, top movies. Like 10 Things I Hate About You. I'm so hesitant to get into any of these
Yep,
because
save it for the other episodes.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, well, we're gonna take the top 6 of those movies and then split them in half and do 2 episodes over it because it's too much for one, and it
mhm.
doesn't make sense to do just one episode on each of them.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah. We actually I mean just to kind of recap like how we came to the decision to take the top 6. Ted kind of touched on this lightly in the podcast intro, but we these are all the movies that were voted on in the poll. We took the list and gave it to our Patreon donors and let them quote unquote finalize the list, which is one of the perks that our Patreon donors get. So if you're interested in kind of becoming that, or becoming a part of that group that gets to decide on like future episodes and topics and finalize polls, because like there was 1 or 2 that were lower on the list that got pushed up to the top because of our Patreon donors. They were like, oh, that I think that deserves to be, within the list of movies that you do decide to talk about. So that's what fucking happened. So if you are into cool perks like that, then you should definitely check out our Patreon. Um, but yeah, I'm honestly I'm kind of excited to get into these movies. There's not really, I mean, with the exception of like Heather's and like a few others that I either haven't seen or haven't seen in a while, and there's a good reason for that. Um, I'm looking forward to revisiting them and then talking about them. I know that there's a couple on here that haven't really aged well and are you kind of do that romanticizing, you know what I'm talking about, Ted, where you're like, you see it like when you're younger at a formative age, and then you rewatch it and you're like, it's not that good.
yeah, I wish more people would get to that second point because then maybe they'd stop talking about how good Space Jam is because it's terrible.
Oh
I know
yeah,
that's kind of
it's
a random pull, but I hate that movie so much, and I'm sick of hearing about it.
all right. Well, so it seems like hate is more directed towards like the quote unquote fandom, I guess, and less towards the movie. I could be far off, Um, but like, I mean, you are correct. It is not, in fact, not a good movie.
Yes.
Um, and Michael Jordan should, I guess, stick to gambling. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't.
World-renowned professional gambler Michael Jordan also played basketball in his spare time. Wasn't bad at that either. Yeah, no, not a good actor.
Yeah.
Mm,
But yeah, man, space. They've been like teasing a Space Jam sequel for like fucking 20 years now,
yeah.
and 15 of those years they've been like, "Yeah, LeBron's gonna be the new Michael Jordan." I'm like, "Fucking show me then! Like, where is it at? Like, and are you gonna make this one good? Like, is this one gonna age like
No.
really?
Oh, let me
Is
answer that for no, it's not gonna be good. That was a weird aside that served no purpose. Um, yeah, back to school movies are not they're not my favorite thing in the world. I'm a little disappointed that the movie Back to School from Ronnie Dangerfield was not listed, but you win some, you lose some, I suppose.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I actually just watched 10 Things I Hate About You not long ago with my
yeah.
girlfriend who forced me to watch that. And it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. It's close, but it's not quite there.
It's got it's got Heath Ledger, it's got Joseph Gordon-Levitt,
Hugh Styles?
it's got my first crush from my youth, and it's got what's her name from Alex Mack, right? That
Yes.
was
Yeah,
her.
she I don't know her name, but she plays the Julia Stiles' sister.
Didn't
It's
we
Julia Stiles,
fucking
right? I'm not
Google
making
this?
that up.
Didn't we fucking Google this like
Yeah,
3 days
literally like a
ago?
week ago when we were hanging out. Yes, we did.
Oh my god! All right, well, 10 thing. There we go. Um, Thankfully, I have a Google machine in front of me. Um, Larissa Olenek?
Sure, let's go with that.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I haven't seen her in anything in a very long time.
Yes.
I wonder
Unfortunately,
if
the sequel, 11 Things I Hate About You, never took off, so she didn't.
yeah. That's not a thing, right? Please tell me that's not a thing.
Not yet.
Okay, well, let hopefully we'll keep it that way.
It's gonna get
Um,
rebooted, David.
you better fucking not. It doesn't matter.
I don't make these choices, David.
That was more, I guess, not rhetorical, but um, I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Sure.
Uh,
I don't know
yeah.
where we were, but we're gonna divide those up and do 2 episodes on them eventually. So you're welcome, you filthy animals. We do a few other things going on, as mentioned, like our informal paranormal series. If you're unfamiliar with that, we have said it a few times on this podcast, but we did an entire episode talking about it just a few episodes ago, I believe, number 62. If you want to learn more about it, we have a fairly in depth discussion about our plans for that series in that episode. We have talked about it some more off the podcast, planning for it, and we've decided that our first topic and all topics will be decided by you, the listeners.
Yeah, go
So,
you guys.
yes, thank you for God knows why you do it, but we appreciate it.
Yeah, we do appreciate it.
Yeah, truly. David will throw up a Facebook poll, and the top 6 or so choices or topics will be what we go over. Pretty much like with the back to school poll, the final order will be voted on by our Patreon people
Hmm.
who have more money than brains, but that's not here or there. We thank them too. So we are very excited for that. I know that we got a lot of positive feedback on that when it was
Oh yeah.
originally announced, and Dave and I were originally talking about it. So looking forward to that. That's going to be
Hmm.
dope.
Yeah.
And then one other thing I'm very excited about personally that I hope David will get more excited about as we venture further into it. We're going to do a martial arts and kung fu series.
Hmm.
Um, we had a lot of fun with the Ip Man episode from a couple of months ago. David is fairly new to the martial arts or kung fu genre of films, whereas I have been into them for basically as long as I have been able to watch movies. So we got a lot of positive feedback from that episode as well.
Yep.
So we're basically brainless automatons. We do whatever the fans like. So we're gonna do
Hey,
some of those. Like I said, I am very excited for that because
I am too.
I love kung fu movies, and I think I'm speaking for him now, but that's all right. I think David is too, as he is
No,
getting more into them.
I'm definitely excited about both back to school, informal paranormal, and the martial arts slash kung fu. In fact, I had you drive your happy ass over here last week and bring your brand spanking ass new Bruce Lee collection over. So we literally just like closed our eyes and pointed to one. I think
Yeah, I
is
made
like,
you pick a number 1 through 5, and that was the movie we
oh
ended up
yeah,
watching.
that's right. And what it turned out to be,
Way of the Dragon.
that's right. Yeah, Way of the Dragon, and it was not bad.
Yeah, that was pretty
As
good.
described as described by Ted, it wasn't the best, and not his favorite, if I'm not mistaken. But I thought it was pretty good. But yeah, we'll probably have some like-minded polls here in the near future when it comes to deciding on some kung fu martial arts movies going forward. Like Ted said, when we did the Ip Man episode, we had quite a few people like reach out to us either personally or comment on ye old Facebook or any other social media saying like, "Hey, we're really excited that you guys decided to talk about martial arts movies," because it's, as far as I can remember, it's not something that we've done in the past, really, um, excluding Tarantino films. So, and I guess John Wick, if you want to count those, I guess you could count those, right?
Yeah, yeah. But the third one in particular, I would say,
Yeah, yeah. Oh, God,
what a great movie.
I get exhausted and sweaty just thinking about it. Um, yeah. Anyways, but yeah, that's what's coming down the pike. Informal paranormal and martial arts slash kung fu. After we bang out a couple episodes on some school movies, should be a good time. I am I'm not only excited for the content, but I'm excited that we have like a game plan going forward. Like it always stresses me out when it's like Tuesday night and Ted and I are like, "Oh fuck, we need to put out an episode tomorrow
Well,
because we're professionals."
yeah.
I think that's why they invented podcasts to begin with, right? Like, is
Yeah,
so
it's so morons like us could get our opinions out there because people want to hear them, by God.
yeah, exactly. Like, so all five of you that are out there, we thank you from the depths of our heavy, dirty souls. We appreciate your support. Um, but yeah, I think we're gonna keep this episode pretty short this week. Ted, is there anything else that you'd like to say or reiterate? Do you want to do the fucking nothing sucks? What the fuck is that segment?
Shit, it doesn't suck.
Shit that doesn't. Do you want
Yeah,
to do?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. I can go first if you
Go
want.
ahead. Yeah.
So I of course, the new season, the second season of the Umbrella Academy just came out this past Friday, and holy shit, folks! Like, I'm not no spoilers. Don't worry. So if you haven't seen it or haven't finished it yet or haven't watched the first season yet, don't worry, no spoilers. Just know that you're in for a ride. It's fucking good, and yeah, I that's pretty much all that I can really say about it because, like I said, I don't want to give out any spoilers. I was a huge fan of season one. I was also a huge fan of the three volumes that were released by Mr. Gerard Way and Gabrielle Ba. And I had my friend Ian come on the podcast earlier this year to talk about the Umbrella Academy. So yeah, self plug to like several months ago. Um, if you would like to listen to those episodes, we kind of compared and contrasted the shows to the comic books and how they differed. Spoiler alert for that, well, they differ a lot. So if you haven't checked out either or one or the other, know that they are yeah, it's really difficult to adapt the comic books accurately because they're pretty otherworldly. But anyways, I digress. Um, Definitely check that out, especially if you are all caught up with season one and are interested in diving into season two. So, yeah, Ted, take it away.
Uh, I can't remember if I've used this before
You
for
have.
shit that doesn't suck, but I'm gonna use it again. Rewatched Silence of the Lambs again for I don't know, probably like the 50th time. And man, that movie fucking rules.
Oh, what are you, a size 14?
Oh wait,
Oh, sugar big peppers.
yeah, it's fun to make fun of his accent, but that's a great movie.
Yeah.
Um, Watched that with my lady, and
Hmm.
she'd never seen it before, so it was fun to
It was payback.
yes. That'll teach you to maybe watch fucking 10 Things I Hate About You. We're gonna watch this guy who murders women now.
So what did she think?
She liked it. She liked
Okay.
it a lot. But no, it was it was just good to number one. It's a great movie that I love watching, but it was good to see somebody else's first
Oh yeah.
experience with it as well.
Those are
So
always fun
yeah,
for me. Like when I get to not only introduce a movie that's new to someone, but like be there with them because I'll
yeah.
just like stare at their face the whole time. Like, what'd you think of that part? What'd you think of that part?
I like to do that with Hereditary.
Petey didn't even have a head.
Yeah, I like to. Yeah, that's anyway. But no, that's man, what a fantastic movie, and what a goddamn crime it was that they were like, let's do the sequel and then just fuck it up completely. But
Right.
that's
Yeah.
neither here nor there. Excellent movie, highly recommended.
Hmm.
David's right. We're going to keep it short this week. A lot of big plans coming, so as long as the lockdown's going, we will be here to keep you company for better or worse. Emphasis on the
Yes.
worse.
Whether you like it or not,
That's
we're
right.
gonna
We're going to
keep
break into
coming
your
at you.
homes and play the podcast.
We're gonna keep on recording and releasing on a weekly basis, whether you feel like seeing our faces pop up or not. So yeah,
There will not be a silence of the podcast.
yeah, that's not a thing that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, but yes, if you made it this far, congratulations. And once again, both of us are
Sincerest
truly
apologies.
sorry. Yes, sincerest apologies.
Sincerest apologies.
But yes, congratulations for making it to the finish line. Like Ted said, it is a short one this week. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. And be kind, stay geeky, and eat lots of cheesecake. Bye.